All right, we're now with the Emergency Communication Center, ECC. Dwayne, if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and then make whatever presentation you like.
Okay. I'm Dwayne Phillips, the Director of Emergency Communications. On my left is Assistant Director Michelle Peterson. She's Assistant Director over Operations. On my right is Dwayne Vance. He spells his name a little funny, but that's okay.
He spells it right.
He's the Finance Officer for ECC. Behind me, I have Assistant Director Angie Milliken over support and Mark Lynham from the ECD board.
Welcome, everybody.
Emergency Communications Center received over 1.1 million calls in 2013, consisting of over 350,000 911 calls and over 600,000 862-8600 calls. The other calls were admin calls and fire department admin. Out of those 1.1 million calls, we only had 29 complaints last year, and only 15 of those were founded.
29 complaints. That's quite a few less than we probably got.
29 complaints by.
Well, some of those actually came through your office. Not that they were made by your office. They just went through your office before they got to us.
Keep talking. You may get a complaint.
The results of our November survey conducted by the Prince Marketing Research Company shows that 92% of the callers were very satisfied or satisfied with the way their call was handled, and 97% of them said that the call taker was courteous. Besides those phone calls I mentioned, we also processed 1.5 million computer-aided dispatch or CAD entries. We implemented the automatic CAD voice system known as Locution for fire and medical dispatch. ECC Technology Group received the Tennessee APCO Award for the Team of the Year for all of Tennessee. Dispatcher Michelle Naval received the Smart Save Award from Rave Mobility for her use of the Smart 911 profile system to save a life. And using our emergency medical dispatch protocols in 2013, we saved 12 lives doing CPR with the phone, and we helped deliver 9 babies consisting of 5 girls and 4 boys.
All right.
All right. Our goals this year to receive reaccreditation. We're due for reaccreditation from CALEA, the Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies, by maintaining the best-in-class processes for police call taking and dispatch functions. ECC will also be implementing a new phone system. We're in the process of hooking it up right now and getting training on it. So actually we're going to start next week. It's called the Viper system. And this new system will provide us with the NG911 platform we need for digital information. This is another step towards texting to 911 and receiving videos and snapshots. Some of our issues, our current communications facility, as you know, continues to be a challenge with employees working on 2 different floors. Remember, we saw that during the flood, call takers on one floor and dispatchers on the other. Somebody has to run the information up between them, but you'll hear more from that from General Services because it's their building. As you know, 96% of the ECC budget is employee salaries and benefits. The remaining 4% includes our internal service fees, which I have no control of. So a 3% budget reduction for fiscal year 15 would require me to give up 8 positions. We're not asking for more positions this year, even though we're well aware that Midtown Hills Police Precinct will be going online. But we've had trouble maintaining all our vacancies and hiring and training for this past year anyway, so we're not going to ask for more than what we could fill. So with the extensive training, the job stress, shifts and days off playing a big part in employees seeking other employment, we are asking this year that the step raises be funded. We also need funds. 15 people are eligible to begin fire training. We'd like to get those funded. And 2 employees are working out of class. They're actually working as IT persons instead of dispatchers, and we'd like to get those positions funded. We'd also need some money in our special event responses. That's for, we use our overtime for OSS and Mission 1 Command and those kind of things, but where we fall short is Music City Bowl, CMT Week, the 10 Titans home games, TSU homecoming, Music City Marathon, New Year's Eve bash on Broadway, all those kinds of things that we supply dispatchers for the police and fire. So we'd like to set up a fund for that.
That it?
That's it.
That's enough, I think.
But I'm ready for questions if you have any.
Well, tell us about the fire training, and what does that represent, and how does that improve your operations?
Back when they combined the police communications and fire communications, it was decided at that time that everybody would be cross-trained as a call taker, a police dispatcher, and a fire dispatcher. Presently, you stay a call taker, a police dispatcher for a couple of years before you move qualified to be a fire, go back and do the fire training. So we now have 15 people that are eligible to move into that fire dispatch, because it's a little bit different than police dispatch.
Okay. And in terms of the overtime funding for special events, have you looked at what's it based on? I mean, is there a big uptick in calls, or what exactly is the need there?
Well, the fire department and the police department, when they set up their command bands, they need someone, a dispatcher there, that handles, it's kind of like having their own private precinct for a while. They'll have their own dispatcher that keeps their records, that dispatches to emergencies that happen in that area. This is all done on overtime that we send people out on that. Because if we can't pull somebody from inside, we don't have enough people to answer the phones. Okay. And it's becoming more and more, besides the ones I mentioned, now the police are looking to have one when they have the major traffic issues around the Bridgestone Arena, and no telling what we're going to have when we finally get everything going at the convention center, that they're going to need dispatchers.
Okay. Now, you've talked about open positions and hiring folks. How's the morale in your department?
Well, when we're short of personnel, trained personnel, then it's harder for somebody to take off work. When it's harder for them to take off work, then they start calling in sick, and the morale goes down. So if we can keep everybody, our status full, and get them trained up, then it'd be easier for the employees to get off. You know, most of our employees are not off on Saturday and Sunday. They're mostly off during the week. So they really like to have some weekends off, and it's harder and harder to get weekends off. But presently, I have 9 vacancies. I have 2 more people who have turned in resignations. We have 23 people in some phase of training. So that's 35 of my people that are either not here or in some phase of training and not completely trained for police dispatch.
Okay. And the overtime that you're asking from your staff, how does that compare to the past? I mean, I know when you took this job, that was a major concern, that everyone was required to do more overtime than they wanted to do.
Well, Michelle and I have talked this over several times and came up with different programs. We have not gone over budget in the 6 years that I've been here.
Right, but how does, in terms of their feelings about their jobs, I mean, are they getting time off, or is everybody
Yes,
mandatory
we do not have
overtime?
any mandatory overtime anymore. Their in-service is overtime, and it's paid for by the board because it's actually training. So that helped our overtime budget when we do the backfills for vacancies where we can't get people to sign up. So, but we've staying within our overtime budget for the last 5 years. We're also using, Michelle's real careful about using some of the younger people versus all the people that's been there for a while, because their time and a half is cheaper than the other time and a half.
But, I mean, the issue at this point is not, people are not being forced to do overtime when they don't want to.
Right, that's correct.
Right. Okay.
And we have not gone over budget in the last 5 years, 6 years.
Good thing, Dwayne. It's a good thing.
That's what Rich keeps telling me. That's a good thing.
Any questions?
Yeah,
don't have a lot of communication because he does a good thing.
Dwayne, maybe for the benefit of the viewing public, I see a representative of the board here. Talk about the relationship and the partnership with the board and how it's funded and what's unique about that. So.
Okay, when Davidson County, and I wish I could take credit for this, but this is probably one of the best ECD districts and communications between metro government and the board than they have in the whole state. There's 100 different boards set up across the state. When they set ours up in Davidson County, the city kept control of the employees, and they pay for salaries and benefits, and the board uses the 911 fees collected by the telephone companies to furnish our uniforms, vehicles, training, and most of all, equipment. And Davidson County is lucky enough to have some of the best equipment in the state. And the state of Tennessee happens to be one of the leading forefronts in this NG 911 of anybody in the country. And we have a 100% backup site. So like when we had the presidential debates, we went to the backup site and nobody even knew we weren't in our regular site because we still have all the room for the call takers and dispatchers, and we can receive and dispatch everybody.
Good.
Rich?
Well, Greg took my question.
All right, well,
That's
thank
why
you.
he goes first.
I think I gave it to him, though.
Well, thank you all for your great work, and thank you for your leadership. It's good to have you in that spot, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.